So, it has been 2 years since I have been on YouTube. Oh, by the way, ignore the fact that I'm on Minecraft right now. I will explain why I'm on Minecraft in a little bit. But the first thing I wanted to do before we get into any other part of this video is show you a little change I'm doing to my little PNG VTuber model. You guys ready for this? It is like so wildly different. And I know, right? Like, you can't even tell it was made by the same person. Okay, bit out of the way, yes, I made this model as well. This is like my new, like, custom homemade, like, PNG tuber model. I've just figured for 2 years since I've been on YouTube, I would just try out a new design. The old one was just a little too generic in my opinion. My defining feature was a blue bandana. And there's like so many like creators out there who have like the purple theme, and I was like, man, the day comes by that a purple VTuber will have a blue bandana and I'm cooked. Like, they're just gonna take my design. So I figured I would make something a little more on brand to my spider ninja theme. I have like the jacket with the web design on it. I also have like a cap now because lately I've been wearing caps in real life, and I was like, you know what, I want to add that to my character. And you have the little like shuriken on top of it to give the ninja vibe. I like it. It's nothing super fancy just yet, but in the future I might use this kind of design as my like maybe I'll use this as a reference for like an actual VTuber model in the future. And now that I have a design that's a little more unique, I could also maybe commission artists for certain art things. All of that's kind of in the future though. I'm not really looking to do anything fancy with this design, like, immediately. And for now, this new VTuber model is just more of a, like, just making me feel a little more unique. Now that I have gotten that bit out of the way, let me talk to you guys about this. Fuck. Okay. But now that I've gotten that whole intro design VTuber bit out of the way, let me tell you what this video is about. So, I have been on YouTube for a little over 2 years at this point, officially, at least in terms of like Genshin creator. And I wanted to do a video just talking about my journey in these 2 years, because I think a lot has changed and evolved over time. Obviously, the format of this is going to be very, very different from my usual content. It is a lot more improv-y, I guess. For those who don't know, my videos are scripted. Like, I will write down a word-for-word script before I press record on any of my videos, and then I'll just edit that, you know, I'll do editing, and that's the video. And for this one, I wanted to do something a little different. I wanted to do a video where I am doing more improv on the spot talking, because it felt interesting just to be like showing you guys my more natural persona. The persona that isn't like organized. My brain in real life is not organized. I have to organize things to give it structure, because my brain decides, hey, let's just go on like 82 different thought processes in a single second. And then I get distracted, and then I ramble like I kind of am right now, and I'm gonna try to not do that, but you might see a lot of that in this video. I have an outline in front of me just so I don't get too off track, but I don't know, I'm not expecting a massively I'm not expecting this to be as organized as my usual videos. So the format is going to be very unscripted. Second thing is, playing a game kind of helps me focus. I think just doing something with my hands helps me focus a little better when I'm talking. So that's why the B-roll of this is going to just be me playing Minecraft in the background, because I might focus a little better when I'm doing this skyblock stuff. As you can see, I'm just playing a skyblock world, nothing too, nothing too, like, special, I guess. And no, I'm not gonna make a Skyblock series on my channel. This is a world that I just do on my free time, just when I'm binging YouTube videos or something. But I'm gonna just kind of be playing around in this world. I might do progression stuff, or I might just be running around the platform the entire time. I honestly have no idea what I'm gonna be doing. Right now I'm just running around, and that might be the entire video. I don't know. Next thing is, there's not gonna be any captions on this video, and I do apologize in advance for that. In addition to a script helping me stay organized on my thoughts and not going into, like, side tangents, this script is also my, like, basically my copy and paste reference for subtitles on a video. And because this doesn't have a word-for-word script, I don't want to be transcribing what potentially will be a 2-hour long video. So, yeah, don't expect captions on this one. I'm so sorry in advance for that. Mic quality might be a little different. This is more similar to my stream mic quality because I'm using my Streamlabs audio settings instead of my, like, Adobe Audition. So there's, like, automated noise reduction stuff happening, and that just inherently lowers the quality. You might hear my keyboard in the background because I'm playing Minecraft as I'm doing this. And I think that's everything in terms of, like, just disclaimers. But yeah, this is gonna be very different from my usual videos. I just want to yap. I want to make this a yapping video. I think those are the videos that everybody, like, at one point in their life, they do a video where they just kind of yap at the camera. But once again, I do have an outline, so hopefully I can stay on track for the most part, but if I do go on a lot of side tangents, I'm, once again, very sorry. Okay, I need to stop rambling now. Let's move on. It's already 10 minutes into this recording, and I'm still on the intro. So, my journey as a content creator, I really wanted to be a YouTuber since I was a kid. I grew up on Minecraft, like, Minecraft YouTubers. Ironic that I'm playing Minecraft right now, but I did grow up on Minecraft YouTubers, and I always thought to myself, man, it'd be so fun to just play video games as a whole career thing. I got, like, better internet, so I was like, you know what, I want to try streaming, I want to try YouTube again, like, now that I actually have the internet to do so. And from there, it was a big shift of, like, actually trying to have a niche. Because doing videos on just any random thing is fun, but it also doesn't exactly... It's not really algorithm friendly, you know? So I had to think of a niche. I definitely wanted to do something Genshin related because I loved Genshin, but I had no idea what my niche was going to be for a long time. I thought about doing lore videos where I would talk about, like, characters or, like, Archon and story quests, but I was very... I don't know the lore as well as I would like to. I'm not like Arnold or Murder of Birds, who's like a god at like everything Genshin lore, and I didn't really trust that I was gonna understand everything that was gonna happen. I also was considering being a guide maker for like Genshin kits, because theory crafting is something that I enjoy as well, and it's something that I would say I'm relatively experienced at. Maybe not like a master at it like Zajef or TGS or anything like that. But I definitely enjoy theory crafting. But I also didn't want to be a guide maker. Guide making is also like a hard market to get into because there's like everyone's doing it. So I was like, maybe not that one. And then at some point, I forget what it was, something reminded me of a Red Flame video, and Red Flame's a YouTuber who got me into, like, theory crafting in the first place, and not the theory crafting where it's like, oh, you, like, have to know meta and stuff like that. It was the kind of theory crafting where I was like, it was like concept theory crafting, because one of his first videos that I ever saw was this video where he made artifacts, and like it was like custom artifacts with the intention of buffing older units. And I thought that was a really cool idea. I was like, that's what got me into theory crafting in the first place, honestly. And I somehow got reminded of that when I was trying to figure out my YouTube stuff. And then that got me onto the idea of like concepts in Genshin, like making these fun like ideas on like what if scenarios. And that's where the first iteration of my channel started. Genshin What If, and the first episode was signature weapons. And I wasn't expecting it to be anything major, because I was used to having my videos be like 20 views at most, and that was on like a lucky day. And so I wasn't really expecting anything major when I first started this channel. I was expecting like 10 to 20 views, maybe like one comment, but I was gonna go into it with the idea of being very, just being creative and having fun with it. And to my surprise, I ended up getting 100 views in my first, like, day of that video existing, which definitely made me feel a lot more confident in my, like, ability to make this channel work. It was like my first taste of, like, YouTube fame, you know? Like, when you go from like 0 views to like 100, and that's like a big deal for me. But I just kept doing the videos that I wanted to make. I would make like mostly signature weapon videos, and then I started expanding out into other like series ideas. My second series was character creator, where I do like original kit concepts. My next series was Unit 2.0, where I did, like, rework videos. Also a Red Flame idea, because he did videos, I believe, he did, like, a video on, like, Amber, Kaya, and Lisa having, like, reworked 5-star kits. So, also credit to him as well for that idea. And then I had Trailblazer the Traveler, which was prompted from a Vars video. It was his why no one plays Yanqing video, and he talked about like his issue with like shielders, and that Yanqing actually would have been a really good character if he was in Genshin. And that prompted me into this whole thing of like, oh yeah, what if he was in Genshin? Man, what if every character from HSR was in Genshin? And so that was a whole like idea that came about. It was really cool just being able to expand and create a platform where I could share all of my ideas, and actually getting people, like a community built around that, people who genuinely liked these ideas of mine and wanted to see more of that. That was all really amazing stuff. Now, as time goes on, every channel has to go through its fair share of like adaptation and evolution, so... And for me, I also had a very similar experience with that. And making concepts was always a super, like, fun thing for me. But at some point, I got worried that I was going to start, like, running out of ideas. And I didn't want there to be an issue where I would run out of things to upload. And so around, like, version 4.7, which was like the Siege Wing video, I started doing these videos called General Gameplay Analysis. And these were like the consistent videos. Every single patch you would see like a video of me talking about like a character, or maybe a new weapon that comes out, or something like that. Like there'd be this period of pause from my concepts, and this allows me to stagger out my concept videos a little more, so that that way no matter what, there's always an idea that I can make when I don't have another video to make. And on the flip side of it, during the dry period in like update videos, when there's nothing to talk about in terms of game updates, I have like a list of concept videos I can make as part of the downtime, so I think it kind of kills two birds with one stone in that sense. And what I started to realize when I made the update videos, the gameplay analysis videos, they are a lot easier to produce, and it's also admittedly videos that perform better than my concept videos. So, in a sense, it's this like interesting thing where I am able to have this more, I guess, like consistent interaction, engagement, and revenue when it comes to the gameplay videos, and then for concept videos, that can be like more of my fun, creative outlet for the channel. One of the things I had to learn when it came to the gameplay videos is finding my angle in which I would talk about a subject matter, because weapons and artifacts already had the angle in which I didn't talk about meta value, I talked about just user potential. Those videos were really fun for me because I would go on the craziest ideas of like, who can use this weapon or artifact, and I'd be like super niche with it, and that was fun for me. I still do that to this day because I think it's like fun to be like, oh yeah, by the way, Ningguang can technically use Seat Lolly's weapon, you know, stuff like that. Like, it's really stupid, but it's fun. And the character videos are the ones I struggled with the most initially because I would be way too generalized with it. I would talk about, like, every aspect of a character's kit, and then I'd be like, trying to find something of value to talk about for a mechanic I didn't care about. Like, I don't know, Emily's thing. I'd talk about how she was a burning unit, and the struggle of having to talk about her burst for a little bit and be like, oh yeah, her burst does damage. And that would be all I could really say about it. The angle I started taking when it came to the character videos was, instead of trying to generalize the video, it was to specify. I would find a specific thing that I wanted to talk about, or I would only focus on the aspects that I cared about. I think some really good examples were Kanich, talking about the angle where instead of talking about his entire kit, I only focused on like why he's really good as a burning or burgeon unit without making him broken as well as a quicken unit. Like, talking about those, like the mechanics involving like Dendro and quicken, and how Kanich goes against that grain and uses that mechanic to make him better as a burning character. Really fun for me. The Seat Lolly video was also really fun, talking about like, you know, my issues talking about cryo and EM scaling and how I just found it really cool talking about it. The Veressa video, as much as it flopped, I liked talking about Veressa's burst, being like going more into detail about energy mechanics and my issues with like a burst that doesn't actually get used half the time. That I found really fun and interesting to talk about. And once I kind of realized that that was what I wanted to talk about, most of my other videos started following some kind of like specific subject instead of trying to cover every aspect of the kit at once. And I think in doing so, it also separated myself from like meta creators who would only talk about like what a character does and like their strength, like should you pull for them or not, because I don't trust myself to judge that. I don't think I have the judgment to say whether you should pull for a character or not. There's so many factors involved with pulling a character, and I just didn't want to like be the creator to be pressured into talking about that. But I think just talking about more of a character, just more in an opinionated matter, that's what I like talking about. That's what I find interesting. That's what I find fulfilling, I guess, as a piece of content. The other aspect when it came to making YouTube videos was finding my unique style. And one of the styles that I incorporated into my videos was making the content itself, I guess I would say, like, podcast friendly. Now, me as a person, I struggle a lot with like focusing on like a YouTube video. I can't watch a YouTube video as easily as like, I don't know, like an anime. Usually a YouTube video doesn't have that much like visual stimuli to keep me engaged. And that's why I naturally enjoy watching videos where I can just put it to the side and listen to it as I do something else. I really enjoy things like channels like Murder of Birds, Chill with Aster, Sevi, Vars, Ashikai. Like, they all have this kind of like vibe with their channel where I can put it to the side, listen, and still be able to understand majority of the content that is being conveyed. And if I do get lost, then I can glance over and just like see the visuals they have to supplement their audio content. But I wanted my channel to be kind of a similar vibe, and definitely design it more for people who are like me in terms of like the attention span and stuff like that. People who just want to play my videos in the background, who don't really care about the visuals, people who might actually struggle to focus on a video if they are forced to watch it. So that's why you might notice, like, I try to make the audio sections of my video very clear and concise. Whatever information I'm portraying is super easy to digest. And if you do enjoy watching a video, then I have like B-roll, I have like other pop-ups in the background that supplement the information but aren't necessarily required to understand what I'm talking about. The other aspect that I think was a thing I had to figure out was the stylistic choice of my thumbnails. I completely understand it when YouTubers have like this super like formulaic algorithm friendly style. You know, they drop in like a freaking like those speed lines, they have like the really surprised like oh my gosh face, and like the text is like all capital letters, like big bold yellow text. And I understand that a creator has to do that for the algorithm. I personally don't want to do it for myself, even if I know it's probably for the best for my channel to kind of go in that style. But I don't know, I don't really like that style, so I try to add something a little different. You might have noticed that I like to do this smoke screen effect in the background of my thumbnails. I just do like a low opacity color scheme, and then I add like this like smoke brush to my background, and it kind of just makes this little like, I guess like a layer to it to make it a little more dynamic. I don't add the speed lines or the really hyped up effects to the video. And I think the main reason for that is I want my my thumbnails to mirror the energy of my videos. I think for my videos, they're a lot more comfy, they're a lot more chill, they're not this hype video where I'm shouting at the camera, making, you know, like that freaking YouTuber voice of like, today we're gonna be talking about like this new character Inefa. She's so crazy and wild, guys. You know, I don't do that. I don't do that with my videos. After every sentence I have, there's not like this visual or audio effect. Like, I call it like the TikTok attention span effect, where there's always like some random noise or like visual effect that's supposed to keep you like stimulated and engaged. Like, I don't have that in my videos. I just talk. I talk about something and there's music in the background, and the visuals I add are just there so that you can have like a visual reference to not be confused, you know? But there's nothing there to be like stimuli. And if my videos don't do that, my thumbnails should not be exuding this energy that it's a really hype channel. The thumbnails are very simple, they're pastel, they're chill. I think that's kind of why I make the thumbnails the way they are. Also, I like color, you know? I want to have variety of color. I don't want to be just yellow, red, green. So that's why I do like a different style of thumbnail. And don't get me wrong, I do have to kind of play into the clickbaity algorithm style every once in a while because, you know, algorithm, but I try not to make it like my main thumbnail style, I guess. Like it, or at the very least, if it is in my thumbnail, I try to have my own unique style to at least make it not as hype, I guess. Moving on, there's changes in my, like, channel, but I think there's also just changes as, like, me as a person and how maybe, like, I do things now and how I portray myself. One of the big things, I think, is, which is a really interesting thing for me, voice acting. I got into voice acting recently, and as a result of me being a voice actor, I started incorporating this, like, style where my video, like, video style is a lot more, I guess I would say performative. Once again, not the performative in the sense of, like, super hyped, like super hype YouTuber type of style, but if, like, here, I'll play a clip of, like, my channel back then and kind of how I talk now. And you'll see the difference that I do put a little more energy into the way I talk, even if that energy isn't, like, clickbait tuber energy. Hey everyone, welcome to a new series called Genshin What Ifs, where I discuss concepts or ideas about what could be in Genshin Impact. What if characters from Honkai Star Rail were in Genshin Impact? That's the question I wanted to explore. And so, I decided to start a new concept series called Trailblazer 2 Traveler. For as long as I can remember, the idea of an off-field physical DPS has been thrown around a lot. We're about to enter 5 years into Genshin, and still, no sign of that. I think I started talking more clearly, like I don't just read off of a script, you know? And when I read off a script and just read, it's like I'm mumbling, it's very clear that I'm monotone in the way I talk. Like, I think that changed a lot. I also think that through voice acting, I started caring more about my audio quality when I send in auditions and voice lines, and that bled into my my like YouTube videos. I actually have a more cleaned up audio editing process, so the quality of my videos is like a little more clear. It's not like this compressed audio style. I'm still figuring out the like perfection of that audio style, because I think with my more recent videos, the style is clearer, but there's a lot more like mouth clicks that you might pick up, which I don't like, but I am trying to figure out how to reduce that without compromising the quality of the video. I think the other aspect is the Discord server. I was very hesitant initially to make a Discord server because I am someone who is like very scared about like parasocial relationships. I studied this in college for my like capstone project. I also have seen from just being on the internet, the situations of other YouTubers either turning out to be like weirdos or situations where they're just being harassed or stalked. Like, I trust myself to not be a fucking weirdo, you know, and not talk to my viewers in a really fucked up way. But I was worried more so about things like I open up a little more on my channel, or I make a Discord server that's like real-time chatting channels, and somebody takes that as an opportunity to like harass me or overstep my boundaries a lot. I was scared about those situations. Like, I did not want to experience like the same things that other YouTubers have had to go through. There was also the issue of like a Discord server where, like, on the opposite end, my social battery is not strong, and even engaging with a community through like text chatting in like text channels, I could not make the promise that I was going to be actively engaged in that server. Like, there are just days when I don't want to talk to people, and I did not want it to be this issue of like people are constantly like adding me, trying to like talk to me and share things, and I just don't want to talk, you know? I didn't want to have that expectation that I was going to be active in my own server. So there was a lot of like, I guess, like paranoia with parasocial relationships. There was a lot of issues with like feeling like I had to be active in my own server, and voice acting surprisingly also helped with that, because I started getting involved more in servers for voice acting projects, and I came to realize like just certain things involving like online interactions, like just being able to understand how to engage online without feeling awkward or feeling like anxious. Therapy helped. I'm not gonna go into therapy too much, but therapy helped as well with like the social anxiety. And then I just got confident enough to be like, you know what, we're gonna make a Discord server and just see how it goes. You know, if something goes horribly wrong, then I guess I shut down the server, and that'll be the end of it. But, you know, it's that thing of like, I can't know unless I try. And I will say, like, making that server is one of like the best decisions I've made. It's so cool, like, even if I'm not constantly engaged in that server, it still gave other people a place where they can share their concepts and ideas. They can talk about their interests with like Genshin and stuff like that. You know, I think it still gave other people a place to connect, even if I'm not like the one who's active in that server, which I find really cool. For my final section, I think what I wanted to talk about was the stuff that everyone has to talk about, the struggles of YouTubing. This is expected when you go into an online space and you have to put yourself out there, and there's like all of these other factors. Like, there's challenges, obviously, that I have, and you know, the challenges and the intensity of these challenges are very different from every, you know, for every YouTuber. For me, the first of my challenges is the focusing aspect. I already talked about how I have trouble like staying like with one thought in my brain. I talk about how I always go on like side tangents and lose focus. This applies to my videos as well. Not every process in my YouTube video process is fun. I don't like editing my voiceover audio because it's like, I've already listened to my voice, like, or I've already recorded the stuff. I already know what I sound like. I don't want to have to go back and re-listen to my, like, recording and just to edit it. Like, that's not fun for me. There's also sometimes when it's like, maybe I just wake up one morning and I don't have the motivation to work on a video. Even if I really like making videos, there might just be moments where I struggle with that. There's also days when I am starting like a process, but then I get super distracted. and I just started losing focus in the middle of it. I struggle with that. That is kind of the reason why I am in the process of getting tested for ADHD, but nothing set in stone. I'm not going to confirm that I have ADHD right now because I don't know for sure. But it's up there on my list. It's up there on my list, and I am in the process of getting tested at some point. Pretty soon, actually, now that I think about it. Anyway, off topic. We're not gonna get too much into the ADHD stuff just yet, but something I did to kind of help me manage, like even just a little bit, just to kind of manage that, was that I started doing a scheduling app, and it addressed a few things, I believe, that made it easier for me to do like the YouTube stuff. Number one, I would have this issue where if I had something happening later that day, I would feel like I can't work on this, like, video project of mine because, like, you know, like, I don't know who else struggles with this. I think I've seen a lot of other people say that they have this issue. But if you have something later on in the day, like for me, it'd be like maybe like a night shift, or maybe I'd be going out with my friends that night, I would struggle a lot to start like working on a video because I would be like, oh, I can't do anything else for the rest of the day because I have this one thing happening at like 4:30. Even if I wake up at like 10 o'clock and I have 6 hours to burn, I can't do anything else for the whole day. I struggled with that. The scheduling app just basically gives me more of a structure to work with. It's like, if I block out these 2 to 3 hours to work on this particular thing, I'll still have a good amount of time to work on this thing before my shift starts or before I go out. By doing that, it did help me realize how much I can get done in the span of like 2 hours. Like, I actually get a pretty good amount of work done if I like can stay focused on it. So it helps me stay focused. It also made me realize I am capable of more than I realize. Oh my god, that sentence sounded so like early 2000s movie inspirational. You're so much more capable than you realize. You just gotta do this. Oh my god, I sound like a 2000s movie. But it is true. I did realize I was very capable of doing stuff within 2 to 3 hours. I think the other big thing is the days when I kind of just don't have motivation. A big portion of it is the fact that I will wake up not knowing what I want to do, and so I spend a good portion of my energy for the day trying to think about what to do, and by the time I actually figure out what I want to do for the day, I don't have any energy to do it. So I think making a schedule and kind of like planning stuff more in advance means that I wake up already knowing what I'm gonna do for the day. And it basically prevents me from having the, it prevents me from having that issue of, like, early burnout, I guess is what I would call it. The other issue that I struggle with from time to time is analytics and video performance. I am in the process of my YouTube career where I am making money off of my channel now. I do have to kind of care about video performance to an extent. But the big challenge is trying not to fall into that trap where numbers are the only thing that really matter in a channel. Like, trying to not fall into that is kind of a challenge. Especially when I have come to the realization, the very sad realization, that the easy videos that take me like less than an hour to make are the ones that would like perform the best. That was a really hard pill to swallow, realizing that the videos that I really care about and put passion and effort into flop for the most part, And the videos that I can just bullshit my way through are the ones that actually get, like, numbers. And that thought process of like, okay, well, what's the point in working on this video if this is going to be the result? Trying to not have that mindset. Very important for me to break through and not have, like, not fall into the trap of being like an algorithm slave. And it's also just finding that balance of like caring about the analytics just because channel survivability and channel stuff, but also like combining that with just keeping that passion of mine. That's why like I go into the mindset of the gameplay analysis videos are my algorithm videos that are there for like revenue and analytics and stuff like that. And then the concept videos are just the passion videos that like, don't give a shit about the algorithm there, just make the video because you want to make it. And it helps. Sometimes it's also just balancing it out within a video, so maybe, the concept video or just the analytic or the analysis video is like still kind of a chill, just doing it for the fun of it type of video, but maybe I'll make the thumbnail a little more clickbaity, just a little more hyped up to give the just to make it a little more like friendly for the algorithm. There are certain balances that I try to achieve with this channel that I do struggle with, but I try to get around it in different ways. And the last part, when it comes to my struggles as a YouTuber, everyone knows this, everyone hates this, the comments. I would say I'm good at avoiding, like, certain comments that are just straight up hate, channel, oh, your channel sucks, you should quit YouTube, oh, this video is trash, no value whatsoever, like, that shit I can ignore pretty easily. I think the comments that I had to learn to recognize and get over were criticism comments. It would just be like pointing out something that they didn't like about my video, but offering no like substantial like ideas of how I can improve on that. I think that's what criticism is. It's just like pointing out what they don't like, while critique will point out something that they don't like, but also give you a suggestion on like how to improve on it, or like maybe why it's not a good aspect in the video. Like, it gives you more than just this part sucks, I don't like this part, But having to recognize the difference between those two aspects was something I had to learn in my time doing this YouTube stuff. It was also just breaking away from the people pleaser mentality, because I am a recovering people pleaser. Like, trying to recognize what is good for my channel and not just taking every suggestion that somebody will give. There was also just like, once again, the social battery aspect. I used to be a small enough channel to where I didn't have to worry about like responding to everybody. I was small enough that someone could comment on my video and I could give like a meaningful response. Nowadays, I don't want to say there's like so many comments, but there's so many to my standard of like, I can't respond to every comment anymore. I will maybe just give a heart to comments that I really like seeing, or maybe a very small basic reply, and maybe others I just don't respond at all. And it's nothing personal when it comes to that kind of stuff. I just have a really hard time engaging with comments nowadays because my social battery decided to fuck me over. And that's not something that I consider to be like a major like issue in terms of my channel. If I don't engage with the comments as much anymore, that's not really a big deal for me. And I will say, if you do want to have more like interactions with me in terms of like talking about stuff, join my Discord server. I'm generally more active there, but at the same time, I do kind of don't have the social energy to respond to every message you might send over my way. So, once again, don't take that personally. it's just kind of how I am when it comes to talking to people. But with all that out of the way, I think that's gonna do it mainly for this video. I initially said I was going to make a Q&A video, which I still kind of plan to do. So it's not gonna I'm not canceling the Q&A video, but I'm probably gonna postpone it just a little bit. Just because I didn't get too many comments. And the other thing is, I really want to get back into the, like, voice acting, not the voice acting. I really want to get back into, like, making the concept videos for my channel. I've been so busy with, like, voice acting stuff and just life in general. You know, I want to start making concept videos, so I want to just make this video and then jump back into concept videos. There's not going to be too much in terms of, like, changes to the channel itself. Like, things are kind of going to be the same. Although I will say, Trailblazer the Traveler is getting a pretty massive, like, rework in terms of, like, how I approach the series. I'll talk more about that in a later video, because I actually have to make, like, a whole, like, dev blog style video talking about those changes I'm making. Character creator is not going through a major change, but it's gonna be like I incorporate more canon characters instead of my OCs. And the direction with this is that, like, canon characters won't have, like, dedicated lore videos, so I won't have to make, like, a whole lore thing around them. I can just make the gameplay videos and get the video out quicker. And then for my OCs, I'll have lore videos, which are going to be the higher production value. And it's just kind of a way to make more, like, frequent character creator content. Like, teaser for next episode of character creator is going to be Guizhong as a shield DPS, which I find really cool and interesting. God, I'm so bad at improving shit. Right now, I'm, like, at an hour and a half into recording, and I'm definitely gonna have to cut this down to size. But thank you all so much for 2 years as, like, a Genshin creator on YouTube. I am so happy to see how much this channel has grown in the past 2 years, and just the really supportive community that, like, we've started to establish as a result. Words cannot describe just how much I appreciate you guys, and I'm excited to see where this channel goes in the future. I'm excited to see how this community grows in the future. But for now, thank you all so much for your support and for watching this video. I will see you all next time. Bye!